Hello beautiful people, it's Mai here from Nintendo Life, and if you're anything like me and all you want to do is find a good game that doesn't cost you an arm and a leg, well, look no further. We've created a list of 21 games under $25 that will not only stop you from endlessly scrolling the eShop, but also might save your bank balance as well. It goes without saying that all of these games are going to be in no particular order. They are only games that have Switch 2 specific editions and have been reviewed and rated on our website at a minimum 8 out of 10. Also, another note as well, you won't be seeing any sales prices here. It's all gonna be full price. Now, without further ado, let's get stuck in.
Starting things off, we've got an absolute belter of Ball Eggs Pit. And they're all belters, want to make that absolutely clear. But Ball Eggs Pit is something that, when it was revealed, I saw it and I thought, meh. But then I heard a lot of people talking about it and finally got my hands on it. And oh my word, this is one of those very, very special games. It is essentially it's a little bit Breakout, a little bit sort of Arkanoid, but it's also so very much a roguelike, and or roguelite if you prefer. And it becomes this cacophony, as any good sort of fast-paced roguelike does, of just complete and utter chaos, but also you feel like you're in control at the same time. It's a difficult one to sort of show, because visually, whilst it's manic, it doesn't really get across how much fun the game really is. But honestly, I've had instances where I've barely been able to put this thing down. It is absolutely one of the most fun roguelites I've ever played, and I really recommend you give it a go.
Next up, a game which I feel doesn't need quite much of an introduction is Stardew Valley. Fun fact, my OG Switch was basically my Stardew Valley machine, and since then I haven't looked back. Recently there's been an upgrade for the Switch 2, so if you've been putting off buying it, then now is definitely the time to do so. I've always thought this was incredibly affordable for the amount of hours you'll play, and I can honestly say that there will be many hours, and is definitely the perfect game to start or end your day with. If you don't know the game, you escape your awful job after inheriting your grandfather's farm in Pelican Town. Farm, fish, mine, and romance to your heart's content, and if you don't want to do it alone, the game has a fantastic multiplayer mode as well. I'm sure you'll have a wonderful time whatever you do.
Something slightly faster paced now, we've got Fast Fusion, and the name is a dead giveaway. And what I just said, yes, this game is fast, as you're seeing now. And frankly, YouTube's compression does not do this game justice. It is absolutely drop-dead gorgeous, to say the least. And if you're hankering for an F-Zero style of game, this is definitely going to scratch that itch. It's not exactly the same by any stretch of the imagination. It's very much its own thing. You've got different, shift between different modes, otherwise you'll slow down when you go over certain boost pads. It's absolutely manic. The hero mode especially is some of the most insane fun I've ever had. It can be really difficult at times as well, which is no bad thing in my books. If you like your futuristic races, you cannot afford to miss out on this.
If you're looking for something short and sweet with a slightly slower pace, then Dear Me I Was will be absolutely perfect for you. This poignant visual novel tells the story of a young woman going through many of life's challenges, self-doubts, and, of course, some self-discovery. Although I don't often pick up visual novels myself, I really felt like Dear Me I Was too beautiful to pass up. The art style, the music, and the story itself are really gorgeous. And even though the gameplay isn't very interactive per se, I think that is a bit of a positive. I contributed when I needed to, but aside from that, I was able to sit back, see the wonderful story unfold, and invest myself in this world. Whilst the game is rather short, clocking in at about 45 minutes, I still think it's worth it. It reminds me a lot of the game Florence, so if you've played that already, I urge you to play Dear Me I Was.
Moving back to the fast, rapid action you want, we have Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Okay, yeah, no, this is not a fast game, and it's one of those games that I wouldn't say is marred in controversy or anything like that, but suffice it to say, there are some people who feel quite strongly about it. But to be brutally honest, yes, I believe it should have been a pack-in, but for the price, it's around about £8, $10, something like that. I think it ends up being really quite a fun and enjoyable and educational experience. I know that's not going to be for everyone, but I actually ended up learning quite a lot, and there's a lot of polish in here as well. If you give it a chance, you might actually be pleasantly surprised. However, at the same time, if you have played it and you find it incredibly boring, I completely understand and I don't blame you.
Instead of diving into consoles, you'll be diving into tombs in this next one. It's Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. I've been a huge fan of the Tomb Raider series since I was a small child, so a Lara Croft origin story such as this was really quite refreshing. The writing is excellent, and I loved the survival aspect and crafting mechanics in the game rather than Lara being able to go in guns blazing like in the original games. Whether you're new to the franchise or a veteran like me and looking for a more mature entry to the series, then definitely try this out. Plus, with it being on Switch 2, you can dive into tombs on the go.
If diving into tombs isn't quite your cup of tea, why not dive into the depths of a strange insect-run society in Hollow Knight? Everyone knows Hollow Knight. What can I say about it that hasn't already been said, other than, frankly, it is some of the best bang for your buck on, frankly, any platform, and the Switch 2 edition is just absolutely delightful. Suffice it to say, the original version, it didn't run superbly in handheld mode on Switch 2, nothing to do with performance, but it just wasn't that crisp, that lovely sharpness that you really expect from Hollow Knight. And admittedly, the boost mode does make it slightly defunct, but it's a free upgrade. What are you doing? Download it now, you great sausage.
From one unique art style to definitely a uniquer art style, Kuukiyomi 4, consider it, is something you really should consider. Haha. It's odd but satisfying, filled with mini games akin to the WarioWare games, and also due to the nature of the game, you can simply pick it up and put it down whenever you like without worrying about losing your place in the story. I personally really enjoyed it, even though sometimes I had no idea what was going on. However, I still think it's perfect if you're looking for something simple and a bit more lighthearted.
Moving back to the previous art style, yes, it's Hollow Knight Silksong, the sequel to Hollow Knight. I promise we randomized this list. But I love Hollow Knight, don't get me wrong. But I find Silksong to scratch an even deeper itch I wasn't even fully sure I had. It is absolutely not going to be for everyone because this is a brutally difficult game. I know plenty of people who have just had to give up on it because it is so hard, but if you are willing to put in the time, you are going to end up with one of the most rewarding gaming experiences of your life. It took an incredibly long amount of time to come out, and I could sit here and wax lyrical about it pretty much forever. My god, this is easily one of the best games I have ever played. Not just on this list, not just on Switch or Switch 2, but just full stop. This is easily in my top 5, if not in my top 3. Play it now. Just be prepared to be beaten to a bloody pulp when you do.
From one depth to another, we have Deltarune. Now, I must admit I've not played a crazy amount of Deltarune myself, but I do remember playing the first chapter a few years ago when chapters 1 and 2 were released on Switch 1 for free. Now, with more chapters out and more chapters to come, I'm definitely eager to try out some more. Deltarune is perfect for Undertale fans looking to revisit Toby Fox's work, but also great if you enjoy a retro art style, a fun party system, and really a battle style I've never experienced in an RPG before.
Absolutely not doing me any favors in my denial that I'm an absolute massive nerd when it comes to Metroidvanias. We have Mio Memories in Orbit. Now, this is a game that I looked at from the outside and thought, that looks cool. And I played a little bit, sort of to get some footage, and then I dived back in a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and I am really quite far into the game now. Like, we've had to play a lot of games for this list. But Mio Memories in Orbit is one of the games that I did not expect to grab me as much as it did. Its art style is superb, this sort of strange painterly thing that seems to almost be generated as you move at times. The movement, whilst it starts off a little bit floaty and a little bit awkward, as you gain more and more abilities, it becomes beautiful, sublime, and I will never get over just running along these big sheets of ice and doing a big jump at the end. There is just something so utterly satisfying about it. It's got a great story, it's got a little sprinkling of voice acting, take note Game Freak. Overall, I've been really surprised with this game, like genuinely. It's not perfect, it's not Hollow Knight level, but you know what, if you've done both of those, give this one a go.
Ooh, now I've got a game that I've been quietly diving into and not so quietly obsessed with, and that's Dave the Diver. Oh, it's been jolly good fun. The dialogue is really funny, a little tongue-in-cheek at times. The gameplay loop is also super satisfying, but still keeps me on edge with the risk versus reward. Diving into the depths not only uncovers different marine life to serve at your lovely sushi restaurant, but it's also a great way to tell the story as well, which is something that Dave the Diver does really well. I tell you though, the management style in Dave the Diver is definitely scratched an itch that I've been needing to scratch for a long time. Plus, you know, who doesn't love a pixel art style, am I right?
On a somewhat similarly tropical theme, we have the Touryist Deluxe. Now, this is a deluxe version of a game called The Tourist, if you can imagine such a concept, that was released, you know, a good number of years ago. And this is just one of the most sort of, I would only really describe it as beautifully sort of like compressed, refined, and minimalist experiences, in the sense that this whole thing is like a gigabyte, runs at 4K 60, it's absolutely gorgeous, doesn't miss a beat, load times are really quick, but enough about the beauty of German engineering, because this is a German game. It's also just a fun game. It's meant to be played almost as just like a little summer holiday or vacation if you're that way inclined, and that absolutely comes through. There's all this sort of strange stuff to do with these ancient monuments, and you got to find all these things, and it gets a little bit dramatic, but never too far. It's just a fun, relaxing time, beautiful voxel art style, runs like absolute butter on Switch 2. I'm a massive fan.
Well, another pixel-style game coming from me on this list is Core Keeper. This is another survival crafting game to fill my cozy needs, especially when it comes to mining in a procedurally generated world. In Stardew, you can often find me running around the mines, so Core Keeper was a definite must for me. In fact, fun fact, being able to break down the walls in the mines in Core Keeper, well, that was an early feature in Stardew Valley and something that I always wanted in the game. Core Keeper is not only a great game to play solo, but if you have friends, you can play up to 8 players as you traverse this underground world, building, farming, and fighting off big old mushrooms, which is something I never thought would happen before. But yeah, watch out for them. They're not fun guys.
Got a bit of a wild card here now. We have Simogo Legacy Collection, which, if anyone knows anything about Simogo, you know that they do some fun and really quite unusual style games. They've done things like Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Sayonara Wild Hearts and stuff like this, but this is an earlier era for them. This is when they were doing stuff for touch devices, you know, smart devices, phones, tablets, all that sort of thing. And there's a lot of stuff here that's really quite inventive, you know, a lot of stuff that wouldn't be considered revolutionary nowadays, but for the time, very much so. And more importantly, preserving that era for them. And it also made me aware that I played a Simogo game a lot earlier than I did with Yearwalk. I loaded up the game, didn't recognize the name, and I was like, hang on, I've played this before. More than that, there is also some prototypes in there as well, so you can see some things that were never released to the public. And I always love it when you get to sort of peek behind the curtain a little bit when it comes to game development. Just have a little bit look behind and see, oh, this thing was never released, this tiny prototype. Can I play it? Yes, I can. Is there a scoring system? No. Is it functional? Just about. You gotta love it.
Okay, I've got to admit, I'm not only a fan of pixel art styles, so this next game was a little bit of a reset for me. Shapehero Factory is a bit of a hybrid in game style as an art-centric factory manager come tower defense game where you create wee warriors to help defend your base. As much as I enjoyed the game, I did find the initial controls and features a tad bit overwhelming at first, but you know, once I got the hang of it, I was able to breathe a little bit better. There's nothing more satisfying than seeing all your little guys fighting off all the enemies, I tell you that.
We've talked a lot about satisfying games in this video, but there is the king of them all, Powerwash Simulator, but more importantly, Powerwash Simulator 2, the sequel, as it's called. Now, I was a big fan of the original Powerwash Simulator, and when I first started playing this one, I thought to myself, hey, this is nice, but it is pretty much the same game. You know, I thought, oh, maybe the UI is a bit different, you know, maybe you get a few different tools, but then I went into a mission, are they called missions? A job, and I you know, I did this thing and I thought this is really basic. Why is this so basic? I thought there's going to be something happen. I did not expect the ground to rise up and actually reveal like a kiosk, and that's what you got to clean, not just this strange circle in the ground guy. And that was really fun. The areas are much more dynamic than they used to be in the original. If you liked the original, there's going to be so much for you here. And it's just great sometimes to just lose a couple of hours of your life that's slowly ebbing away, but it's okay because you're ebbing it away with Powerwash Simulator 2.
Speaking of my hours ebbing away, I sunk in a lot of hours into this next game, Cast and Chill, but, you know, for good reason though. It's a nice mix of an idler with fishing mechanics as you go up and down the river with your dog catching fish. What I really enjoyed about Cast and Chill is that I could do just that. I could either actively play the game or keep my Switch 2 on my desk, pop the game into idle mode and have it fishing by itself as I focused on real life tasks. So if you're looking for a balance of a proper cozy experience as well as being able to multitask, then definitely go for Cast and Chill.
Now, you may think you know what you're about to get when I say that the next game is called Skate Story, but I guarantee you, even though, yes, there is skateboarding involved, what you probably didn't anticipate is the fact that you play as a glass demon who wants to destroy the moon. And you do that in, like, the first 15 to 20 minutes of the game. Then you get trapped in, I think, the mind of a philosopher. Honestly, the game is absolutely off the wall. I've played it a good amount and I'm still not fully sure what's going on, but it is a beautifully made game visually, orally, in the sense of audio, you cheeky sausages. It's just absolutely spectacular, and I genuinely did not expect it from a game titled Skate Story. It really surprised me. I'd recommend it to any fans of skating games like Tony Hawk and stuff like that, if you want something that's absolutely going to tear your brain into little pieces. And who doesn't want that?
Whilst I might not have been tearing my brains into little pieces, I might have been tearing my hair out with this next game. And oh boy, is this game absolutely bonkers. It's Squirrel with a gun. And just like it says in the tin, you are a squirrel with a gun, and for some reason you're public enemy number one with these special agents just determined to end your tiny life as soon as they see you. As a child of the 90s and partial to many a platformer, this game really challenged me as I found that the controls were ultra sensitive, but oh boy, I was determined to keep trying, and try I did. What I really enjoyed about Squirrel with a Gun is, aside from the absolute utter chaos, I really liked how open world it was. As a creature of chaos, you must hunt down golden acorns, and I really felt like the music fit the game perfectly. It definitely complemented the game's heist-like nature. I tell you what, if chaos is what you're here for, then Squirrel with a Gun is a game for you.
And finally, we have Bokura Planet. Now, anyone who knows about the Bokura games knows that I can't talk about this by myself, so me and Mai are going to have a quick chat about it. This is obviously pixel arty style game. The looks are very deceiving in so many different ways. It's a co-op game, and Mai, we decided we'd play, you know, so we get some footage for the thing. Ended up just blasting through the whole thing, didn't we?
We just couldn't get enough of it, and oh my goodness, I personally absolutely loved the fact that we had to use communication and secrecy throughout the game as well, because that was a big thing. And I have a really bad poker face. Even though you couldn't see my face, I have a bad poker voice. It's been a really long time that I've played a game, not just couch co-op, but online co-op like this, where I've actually had to use my brain during the puzzles, having to talk to each other. And oh boy, our communication was really interesting, wasn't it, Alex?
It was. I think we did quite well overall, though, with it. We did occasionally have to rely on, I can't believe I'm saying this, game chat. We shared each other's screens at times just so that we could sort of get a bit more understanding. Maybe not what they originally had in mind, but it was really beneficial, and I can't believe I'm saying that about screen sharing with game chat. But, you know, credit where it's due. There are some fantastic puzzles in here. The storyline, like, you pick one character, and there are moments where on the screen it comes up with a little microphone, and then it draws a line through it, and it says, "Don't discuss this with the other player," and it's just like, oh my god. And it turns out we only got one ending. There's multiple endings.
Yeah, so there's an ending that you get, and then you have to replay, and then after that replay you can get more endings. It's
Something like that.
It's absolutely bonkers. Had to look it up afterwards, and Yeah, it was so surprisingly good.
It's the game on this list that surprised me the most, bar none.
And there you have it, 21 games under $25 that won't break the bank. If there's any that you found on your eShop findings, let us know in the comments below. And while you're there, why don't you press that subscribe button 21 times and see what happens then there, yeah? Also check out nintendolife.com for more lovely Nintendo bits and bobs. In the meantime, thank you also so much for watching and have a good one. Bye.